created a whole new world disorder. Stop these wars before they happen. StrikeNet will download additional intel as needed.
Sorry to interrupt. Now, Iraqi forces are invading southern Russia, and it looks like they're converging. I just don't know where. Uh-oh, yes I do. An ex-Soviet chemical weapons plant.
Good. We've been hoping for another crack, General Savak.
No doubt he will use those weapons, and Shadow Man will be sure Moscow gets full credit.
Commander, you'll have allies all around that mountain fortress. But if it falls, there'll be nothing but sand between that madman and chemical weapons. And remember, if you do not think, you will not win.
Right, this is Nick on. I'm being held in some old Soviet sanitarium. Get me out of here quick before the Shadow Man gets back to me.
Got him. He's in the heart of Transylvania.
Isn't that a radiation zone?
Yeah, this place is hot. Touch those radioactive punches, and you'll never need a nightlight.
Sanitarium is a polite term for prison where Mad Dr. Ukrainian keeps people he needs.
Commander, liberate Nick and the patients in that hospital, especially Comrade Ivan Ureliev.
Yeah, Ivan is ex-Soviet air cav, and he's uniquely qualified.
Ivan irradiated himself while dumping sand on Chernobyl, saving millions of lives.
It's simple. Ivan defects and snags the core. You dump it in a pit, and we quirker cruise missiles.
Sounds easy, but button up. This one's a monster. This creature is Villa. Obviously, reports of her death were unfounded.
Shadow Man was just distracting us until his pet arrived.
This third war of liberation throws two puppets together, dragging both nations into chaos.
With those UN peacekeepers caught in the middle.
If Villa seizes the reactor, her rockets will destroy most of Europe.
Her showing up is already making Ukrainians hitting Scud missiles twitch. Watch your butt.
Mop up this mess, Commander, and head to Moscow. Our worst fears are coming true.
I've ditched my chopper, so get up here and extract me from this fleabag hotel. Minutes matter. They've diverted the Mayday parade and tanks are rolling through the streets. A major coup unfolds as we speak. Conspirators include the Russian mob, hardline military, and ex-KGB. We're going to evacuate the Russian cabinet from Tolstoy House before they fall victim to the coup. If you do not succeed in this, nothing we've done so far matters.
This is the probable location of Shadow Man's key offices. Brief them once you've sanitized the site. Don't look back, Commander.
Shadow Man, go back. Release the vulture. The enemy is vulnerable. Checkmate. 3 of those.
Mr. Nick just crossed into the valley of death.
I thought Shadow Man was dead.
And I thought StrikeNet was impenetrable.
And he's got Nick's strike out.
Well, jam the signal.
You never find Nick's body.
You know the protocol.
Look like our boy Ahmad is delivering the groceries. We pinpointed Vlad on the flagship Kara.
Strike gets one shot of him. The 6th Fleet gets the second one. We don't want war, Commander. Let's get it right the first time.
This is as bad as my first one. April 1962. Special Forces assigned to the CIA. We landed at the Bay of Pigs. Our mission was to overthrow Castro. Fighting was fierce. We knew the Air Force was coming. Problem was they never did. We were all killed or captured. My survival was an embarrassment to the politicians. Luckily, somebody I didn't know brought me home. That was a security job. He doesn't believe in placing war powers into the hands of politicans. Neither do I.
The end of my enemy, I thank you, Commander. You proved the theory of what information society does to industrial one. Many times invaders come through these mountains and raid, but this time we see truth. Knowledge is power.
It's weird. In the old days, they could actually see and touch the people when they killed them. Nowadays, war's all remote control. It's like playing a game. I mean, sometimes I even expect for the bad guys to get up even after they shot. But they never do.
The old folk tells there's only one sure way to kill a creature who would not die. You have found it, Commander. All the dead in the next world are about to rejoice.
Bad news. Yeltsin isn't here. The cabinet men said he's trapped in the Kromler Bell Tower, surrounded by two forces. Pull him out! Yeltsin airborne. Mission accomplished. We got new orders. Nail the pawns and drag Shadow Man into the light.
Security Czar wants this one dark. 1 chopper, 2 pilots.
Sounds like we have 0 chance of asset return.
Skip the euphemisms, Andrea. Let's use the old term. Suicide mission.
You think the commander will do it?
Of course. The bigger the risk, the more enthusiastic he is.
The controversial Iraqi strongman Sadisa Savak is believed dead as a result of a freak automobile accident today. His devoted followers have jammed roads and lit huge funeral pyres to mourn his passing. A freak forest fire has swept across a wide section of Crimea early this morning. The flames spread quickly to a local airport and even engulfed a resort villa. Eyewitnesses report seeing pillars of smoke from miles away. Though details are not clear at this time, it appears this disaster was caused by an abandoned campfire. In a resounding affirmation of the New World peace process, today pacifists symbolically scuttled the Soviet mothball fleet located in a small inlet near the Black Sea. The leader of Pax Eternus, or Peace Forever, said in a message to this network that their gesture was one of many to be carried out in celebration of the end of the Cold War. Most of Transylvania is being hastily evacuated today as a severe case of cow fever spreads throughout this rural community. The deadly disease is forcing the indefinite quarantine of hundreds of square miles. Things are going crazy around here. Move it. There was a minor disruption during Russia's annual May Day parade today as a small earthquake rumbled through the heart of Moscow. No Russian officials were hurt, although some damage was inflicted to the outer walls of the Kremlin. A few buildings and a television tower were destroyed by gas fires. Meanwhile, at the Moscow Zoo, the Russian bears seemed particularly upset by today's unsettling events.
Mr. Yeltsin, I'm not here to debate with you. I'm here to explain how things will work. If you don't want to play ball, I'm sure that the vice chairman will. We've had to deal with this very unpleasant situation before. Trotsky didn't understand, but Lenin did. And what is your answer?
I understand.
A defective heating system is blamed for the destruction of an exclusive Crimean health resort. This scenic region of the ex-Soviet Union was engulfed in a massive explosion, and flames have been reported from miles away. It is feared that many vacationing dignitaries of the former superpower were killed in this blast. Analysts predict a power vacuum and civil unrest throughout Russia. Regional leaders expressed concern today over the sudden activation of a mothballed Soviet fleet stationed near the Black Sea. Dozens of warships are steaming into the Mediterranean. The Pentagon will neither confirm nor deny reports that they have just issued a stand-down ultimatum to this naval force. Officials expressed grave concern over a communications blackout in Central Europe. Unconfirmed reports of a nuclear missile strike on an unidentified Mediterranean city are being frantically investigated. We are closely monitoring this emergency and will bring you a full report as soon as the facts emerge. In what many view as an escalation of tensions around the Caspian Sea, Iraqi strongman Sadisa Savak has issued a new ultimatum. He is calling for holy war within the breakaway republics and threatens the use of sacred weapons of mass terror. Kremlin watchers also report what appears to be a massive shakeup in Russian leadership. Some suggest this may signal the return of hardliners to power for the first time since the collapse of the Soviet Union. Breakaway military factions launched raids today into Transylvania. Fighting was intense throughout the region as... Excuse me. We go now to Transylvania, where the leak of a local reactor is turning into a much larger crisis. Today in the radioactive zone around Transylvania, UN guards continued their patrols. This assignment is so dangerous that all traffic to the area has been diverted. Experts in radioactive half-life predict that this lost legion of troops will remain stationed here well into the next decade.
The crisis here in Russia worsens by the minute. Outside my window you can hear machine guns, and fires rage out of control throughout Moscow. This will be my last broadcast. This is Andrea Gray, signing off.
It was just a simple mission. Strike's covert effort is over. I just hope the world survives what comes next. This is Andrea Gray signing off.
This is Ahmad sending. This is an update. I still elude their donkey clutches. This rust bucket is hidden in a dock somewhere behind metal doors. When ship leaves, I will send you a visual signal to show you my location.
Hack, can you pinpoint him?
Sorry, General, but they put up so much ECM garbage that I couldn't find Russia on the map right now.
A lot of random events seem to be adding up. The black market's buzzing, and somebody's running the Blue Plate Special on weapons. Troops are on the move everywhere. Our operatives in the region have been methodically compromised. I've got a serious digital vibe that a well-orchestrated conspiracy is being played.
We have monitored repeated use of the phrase Shadow Man to describe the hardliner leading this Eastern European conspiracy. We suspect it is a Russian named Yuri Vatsisnov. If it is, he has a human rights code that would appall Dracula. Let me tell you how serious this is. If Vlad pulls this off, he's got the nuclear tools to topple the Russian government, start a regional war, and push it all the way to global. In short, if he keeps those ships, he'll be talking terms and we'll be taking dictation. Vlad Ceausescu is a bloodthirsty glutton who feasts on the carnage of ethnic strife. He lives as much in the 15th century as the present, and wants to use weapons of Armageddon to fight his petty wars. Do not underestimate him. He has access to first-rate intel and acres of ex-Soviet equipment. Thus far, he has been known to use nerve gas, anthrax, abduction, and even worse on those who disagree. If there's an atrocity this guy hasn't committed, it doesn't have a name. If you're shot down in his territory, save the last bullet for yourself. Savak is a bull in a china shop. If he gets weapons of mass terror, every tin pot dictator and prancing peacock is going to invade their neighbor, thus aiding and abetting the Shadow Man. Experts are divided as to if Savak is a true religious fanatic or whether he creates visions to serve his political ends, as did the madman you might remember from an earlier strike campaign. Whether he is a religious zealot or cynical manipulator, no one doubts he is willing to fight to the last drop of everybody's blood but his own.
Militarily, that's vital. Savak is a coward. He'll be nowhere near the line of battle. He hides among his elite democratic guards until he can ride in triumph when victory is assured. The many films we see of him acting brave in battle are, in fact, stage photo shoots. This looks like an easy one. Just avoid being fried and you're home free, at least so it seems. If the Shadow Man's behind it, expect trouble. Big time.
Villa will continue to be a threat to world order as long as she remains alive. If she and Ukrainian engage each other, it will escalate into a major ethnic upheaval.
Simply deny victory to both Villa and Ukrainian commander, encourage maximum attrition by equalizing their forces. The only good enemy in this battle is the dead one.
Mad Doctor Ukrainian purchased his thugs by selling uranium to the highest bidder, and then turned the region into a playpen for every renegade, desperado, and loser in the ex-empire.
We also know that a lot of modern equipment has come into this area and none is left. Expect to unearth it in the worst place at the worst time.
Villa's yet another nightmare from a region of nightmares. A psycho character who calls herself the Impaler and has managed to convince locals that she can't be killed. Don't feel bad about it if you dispel the rumor.
Hey, if you can't toast her, at least cop her phone number, Commander.
Forget it, Hack. She's chewed up and spit out hundreds of men. You wouldn't even be a dinner mint. Maybe you should call her the Black Widow.
I'm not a political man. That's Andrea's beat. But this is clearly worst-case scenario time.
Shadow Man has merged the nightmare power of the Russian mafia, the military power of the KGB, and the political power of the hardliners to crush the democratic movement.
If he succeeds, he'll throw the world into a new dark age. Kaponov's mobsters have looted southern Moscow and are trucking the richest to their monastery fortress under the cover of the coup. Stop them. If the Shadow Man gets control of all the wealth in Moscow, hearts and minds will follow.
Strike. This is Nick Arnold. I've been taken prisoner with several other agents. They're having some not-so-nice Q&A sessions and using the firing squad like it's St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Now get us out quick! Or give us a Viking funeral.
These are the Easter eggs on this treasure hunt. Bring them to a landing zone safe and sound. They're fragile and valuable. Here's the bonus prize. Once at LZ, the Easter Bunny will automatically monitor and repair your armor while the eggs unload. Nick Arnold. He was the best road-ahead Strike had until you came along. Now you do the piloting, and he does the groundwork. Mr. Arnold has also developed a nasty habit of getting captured. Seems you're gonna make a career out of bailing him out. Once you leave our safe house, you're flying solo, Commander. Although, Nick should be able to get a little commando action going on the ground.
These overrun local forces are the good guys. Don't let them become the dead guys.
Get them to a landing zone, and your Apache can auto-analyze and repair armor damage while they unload.
This is one of your LZs, Commander. It is not well defended. Don't let the enemy follow you home. Arnold's like an old riverboat card shark. You can never tell what's going on behind those eyes. He's gambled with death so many times that he's got a regular seat at his poker table. One day, he's not going to beat the odds. Just make sure you don't go down with him. It would be a devastating blow to this organization.
Some clerk accidentally shipped our armor crates to the third world. Problem is, they don't have any use for them, so they've been taking up space in the bazaar. Cruise in there and haggle a winch discount.
Deploy Ahmad's relatives to drop points, and their loyal troops will soon follow. The skill is in getting the right relative to the right place. They have a 2 millennia-old family feud going on. If the wrong relatives cross paths, they'll fight each other instead of Savak. Ahmad is an ex-SAS commando who's been on a lot of missions for us. This is the first time we've cut him loose on his own home turf. He's related to a number of people here, including Savak. Therefore, you can assume he harbors a strong personal agenda. Let's hope it's the same as ours.
The Super Apache is equipped with an onboard distillery for local petrol. Plays havoc with the engine, but if you're desperate, this thing will probably run on lighter fluid.
To understand what is happening here, you must understand the history of my family. We have been at war since time began. Our lives would be nothing without war. We fight to live, we live to fight. Sometimes we die. Part of our problem is location. Our mountains are in path of every invader who wants to cross from south to north. Therefore, when invaders come, we have choice, to fight or submit. And that choice is not a choice. This is my sister Delilah. Like the female fox, she is the most vicious of all my relatives. That is why my evil uncle Savak fears her the most. My other uncle Nimrod fears her too, for he once tried to marry her. She was so disgusted that she swore to kill him if she ever saw him again. You may believe this threat or not, but believe me, Uncle Nimrod does. Uncle Nimrod is what you in America would call playboy. Never is he seen without a beautiful woman clinging to his arm. In war, Uncle Nimrod's passion is not matched by his skill. But he has good tanks and troops who share his lust for glory. Nimrod is vain and arrogant. His costume is of his own making. For these reasons, we know him as Strutting Rooster. Nimrod fears Delilah and he hates my cousin Bessus. Because Bessus once took a woman from him. He had challenged Bessus to a duel, but Bessus rejects him. If he sees Bessus, he will kill him. I have little to say about Bessus, because Bessus himself says little. He is a quiet man who has settled down to become a simple farmer. We laugh at this. Who would farm when there are men to be killed? We call him the grain stalk. He calls us nothing. He simply tends his crops.
Commander, keep an eye out for friendlies to rescue. We'll get political points for saving the meltdown victims, and it'll look great on the evening news.
Ivan should be dead after the radiation hit he took. It does not come as a surprise that he has a serious preoccupation with death.
Ureli is a major medical mess. He's been down a long time, but hasn't finished the job. Might be that Ukrainian is giving him an experimental treatment that actually works.
The important thing is that Ivan is now dedicated to enforcing his own new world order, to make sure that what happened to him won't happen to anybody else. These UN guys are handpicked from the best armies of the world. Problem is, politicians never let them show what they can do. If you count on them to win your ground battle, Commander, you're gonna end up in a body bag. Best weapon you have is greed. Secure any local loot and deploy it as bait. Dropped outside prisons, it'll lure guards from their posts. It's the oldest hunting trick in the world. Worked in the Stone Age, works now.
Bad news, Commander. Both of your LZs are teaming with ex-KGB and mob vermin. Pest eradication will be necessary before you can land there in comfort. Ivan grew up here. He knows this city better than you know your own apartment. Drain his head, drive everything he knows. Just point and listen.
We're low on local intel, so you're gonna have to find your own. The Russian mafia speaks the international language. Cash. Try to buy their services. Secure valuables and deploy them to a location where they will encourage a feeding frenzy. When in mobland, do as the mobsters do.
Thank you for the rescue, Commander. Mivan Radev, soldier of the world. Ignore my handsome face. I'm a good soldier underneath. Don't worry. We'll find your friend Nick and bring death to his jailers.
Don't worry about me, partner. I'm the shit. I just found me a really cool motorized sled. Oh, see, we got a radio, wire walls, anti-tank launchers, all the extras. Do me a little groundwork. I'll catch up with you later. Strike! This is Nick Arnold. I can transmit, but I cannot receive. I'm being held in some torture chamber from a grade B horror flick. Make that grade C.
Here with the Russian president. We're in grave danger. He's planning to drive. We're being fired at. Cover us while we try and find a way.
I can't tell whether he's the best driver in the world or the worst. Making a run for the airport. Keep us covered.